Hi, I'm Gruenke, founder of the Balanced Runner System. I've been helping runners from beginner to Olympian improve their form and performance since 2003. And I'm here today with another stuck at home running form tip for you, from my living room to yours, helping you use this time as an opportunity to become a better runner. And as you know, if you've been following this series or anything else, my blogs, etc., you know that I recommend leaning forward. And in fact, that I find that when runners lean forward, they run much better. And had done a whole series of videos on why and how that's so. It's a little different from anybody else's material on leaning forward. So take a look if you're not familiar with my take on that. But I got a great question from one of my viewers here, Adelino. Thank you. About leaning forward, about whether it should feel like falling. And that's a question a lot of people have. You know, if I'm leaning forward correctly, should I feel like I'm falling? And if I don't feel like I'm falling, am I leaning forward? They're not quite the same question, but they're related, and both really important questions, because the answer to both is no. You're welcome. You should not feel like you're falling. And if you don't feel like you're falling, it doesn't mean you're not leaning. And let me explain. So when you sway forward to initiate running, right? Begin the action of running. It's a little, when I do it this way, I can catch myself with the foot. When I do it this way, my foot hits, my knee hits the sofa and I have to use my hands. So the limitations of my living room. But once you've done that, once you've displaced your center of gravity forward and gotten yourself, that's good enough for what I'm saying. You have initiated movement, you've put energy into the system, and you're done. Like, you're not falling any farther. You've gone from here to here, or whatever it is that's going to be, here to here, or whatever your lean is going to be for that run. But for most of us, since we're running super fast, it's going to just be about that much. The good face forward, of course, and you're not going to continue leaning more and more. If you did, you'd eventually be face planting. And you only get more energy from leaning more, and you get less from leaning back. So I'm going to start running. There we go. I'm now going to stop running. Like that. If you want to speed up, you'll probably do that in part by leaning more. And I talked all about the benefits of your proper lean for speed and what it requires from you movement-wise in a previous video. So I'll put a link to that video in the description below so you can check it out if you missed it. You're going to lean more, and then when you slow down, you're going to lean less again. So basically, your lean is your foot on the accelerator when you drive, right? And you lean, you start by leaning, you speed up by leaning more, you slow down by leaning less, and you stop by stopping leaning, basically. So assuming a steady pace and steady wind resistance, you only fall once, right? So this lean, we could also call it a fall, because it makes you have to move your foot to catch yourself, and that's your first step into running. You're not running until your second step, but that's your first step into running. So you're falling, but you only fall once, and then you're done. You don't fall the whole time that you're running. You fall once to a certain point, and then you maintain that. So you'll feel that bit of sway forward. You will feel a little fall then, and then you won't feel it again. The other reason that you should not feel like you're falling when you're leaning is that only half of your body is falling at any given time, and the other half of your body is recovering. That's how you're maintaining that angle. So I'm going to just do the old camera adjust. So you don't run like this, right? I mean, it's not possible to completely to pick one leg up. You have to do something to change your shape so that it's possible to balance on the other leg, and that might be very subtle, but you have to change. And so you can't actually just cycle your legs when you run as though you were on a unicycle, because there's no seat to support you. You have to support yourself on one leg or the other, and so that requires a change in movement in your torso. So I can't even fake it. But anyway, what's that change in movement means that as you're on one foot, and as you're moving to late stance, this side of your pelvis is going back, and this shoulder is going back, right? That's your core action, this counter rotation of your torso. So this diagonal of my body across my back is extending from shoulder to hip, right? It's arching. And meanwhile, this leg is coming forward, and it's not coming forward by itself. The pelvis is connected, right? So if this side is moving down and back, if this side is moving down and back, this side is moving up and forward along with the leg. That's part of how you swing your leg through. And the counter rotation, the shoulder we said was moving back. This one is coming forward. So this diagonal of my body is flexing. And I'll actually turn this way to show that, right? So like that. And so you're basically falling on one side while you're recovering on the other side. You're doing things with your body to bring this leg forward to catch you. And you can feel that you're coming into position to catch yourself as surely as you're moving off of the back foot. And so your nervous system doesn't interpret that as falling, because you are not going to, that partnership of these two diagonals of your body means that that's what maintains your angle, your forward lean. And so you don't feel falling. You feel as safe and, in a sense, stable as if you were standing. Standing in the knowledge that you are not going to fall over. Counter rotating in the knowledge that you are not going to fall over. You are catching yourself with every step, and you can feel that yourself coming into position to do that. So if you feel, whoa, like you're falling with every step, then you're not doing that. You're not coming into position to catch yourself well. You're either trying, and I've seen this with so many clients, and especially for some reason in my earlier days of doing this, like 2000, I start 2002. Yeah, 2002. So, definitely still before 2010. I had more people come through my practice who were doing pose than I have since then. That may just be coincidence that those were my New York City years, and there was more overlap there. But anyway, pose, for example, with a real emphasis on falling, and I know Romanoff prefers the term falling. A lot of people who are coming to me felt like they were really actually working to have that falling feeling all the time when they ran. And so when you try to achieve that feeling of being continually out of balance, as opposed to having shifted to a new dynamic balance, you are you're creating a danger signal, right? That you might miscalculate and fall on your face, or also that you're very vulnerable. The slightest catch of a toe or whatever, and your barely balancing act is going to fall apart, and again, you're going to go down. So your nervous system tries to protect you by tightening up your calves, your lower back, Those would be the big ones, but maybe other places too. So even as you try and stretch yourself forward to get that falling feeling, other muscles are pulling back. Like, whoa, hold on, don't land on your face. And you feel tremendous tension in your running. And you'll end up having problems like tight calves or a tight lower back, or just a really choppy feeling. Or you can also take that in the knees, just above the kneecap. So you're not. It's a sign of trouble if you're doing that. If you're not actually working to create a falling feeling with every step, but you just find that you feel really insecure when you're leaning forward, and you do feel like, whoa, I'm falling, and that doesn't feel so great, then you're not counter rotating. Your nervous system is identifying that, like, you're not doing something that is going to easily and with every step and without question catch you. And so then it's your core action that you need to work on. And where all of this stuff about leaning or falling, whatever you want to call it, really became clear to me was when I worked with runners, over the course of that first decade of my professional practice, on honing the core action, which, as a Feldenkrais practitioner, I was trained as being fundamental in gait, so walking as well as running. And the better that became for people, the more spontaneously they just they leaned forward and sustained that lean and felt as secure and comfortable as if they were standing up. And so that's for most runners. If there are any issues at all with your lean, that's what you need to work on. There are some outlier cases where it could be something else that's interfering. It could be calf tension or something about your head-neck connection, something about your, shoulders. That would even still be core action. So yeah, it could be those things, but most of the time it's just your core action. And so I'm going to link to a lesson below in the description, my best free lesson that I can give you for exploring your core action and improving it, so that you'll have a very natural and spontaneous sway forward like a child who's beginning to run, and then sustain that with total ease and with also really natural, spontaneous shift of weight every time you need to change your speed, deal with some wind, deal with terrain, whatever comes up, and then stop without breaking. Yeah, there's another video idea. But anyway, that's what I have to say about that. So I see that there are some questions. Definitely get the lesson from the description below if you want to work on this, or if you've been struggling at all with a feeling that you're falling when you lean forward. Adelino, but when we accelerate to higher speeds, it's normal to feel we have to put more effort to control the increased angle of the fall. No, it should be pretty spontaneous, Adelino. It should be pretty spontaneous, and I talk about, the one end of your fall is this face forward movement where your head slides forward on your atlas vertebra, is angle, but my head is sliding so in on the atlas vertebra, so that when my spine goes like this, okay. Well, no, that's not even a good. I need some sort of there. Very large atlas vertebra, very small head. But anyway, so when my spine goes on when my spine leans forward, the head. No, that's still not a very good visual aid. I need to figure out a better visual aid for that. But hopefully you follow me. In any case, there's plenty of videos, earlier videos about that. So you can use your face forward movement to speed you up. Again, that's your foot on the accelerator. You move your face forward. You, like a horse running, you reach your face forward, and that brings you into a deeper lean, which then lengthens your stride and directs your force better. And all the things I've talked about in earlier videos. Um, Hopefully, and your core needs to be there to supply the action that is going to consistently and securely catch you with every step. So yeah, Adelino, definitely do the lesson I'm going to put in the description below. Sorry, I keep bumping my desk and shaking the camera around. Nima says, sometimes when I adjust my leaning, my cadence increases as well, more than 180, and heart rate goes up. Any recommendations so that I can have more control over my cadence? Well, look, cadence is speed dependent. So if you're running faster, and especially if you're just accelerating to a new speed, your cadence is going to go up. So the more you lean, the faster you run, the higher your cadence will be. Now, your stride length also needs to increase, though. And so if you're doing all of the speed increase with increased cadence, and increased stride length isn't part of that equation, so that your cadence is shooting up too high, then it's your stride length that you need to work on. And again, I will put the link to the video about how leaning forward increases your stride length, because people tend to work on hip extension for that, but what you need is more hip flexion. And so, Nima, maybe that is something for you to look at, so that, yeah, your cadence increases a bit, but not as a substitute for increasing your stride length, just as an appropriate part of increasing your speed. Hopefully that makes sense. Good. Well, looks like that's it for questions. So I'll wrap it up here. Thanks so much for watching. I will be back tomorrow with another Stuck at Home Running Form tip. If you found this video valuable, please hit like so Facebook knows to, YouTube knows to share. Same difference. Anyway, to share it with runners who need this information. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and click the bell so that you get notifications about new videos. Please check out all the great resources I have for you on balancedrunner.com, and I will see you tomorrow.